Hey guys, I'm Morthadon, and we are back for Attack on Titan Season 3, Episode 20. I couldn't wait, guys. This is the next day since I watched the previous episode. I found some time today because I'm actually waiting for, normally I would have recorded One Punch Man Season 3 and My Hero Academia, but they haven't started yet. So since those aren't out, I was like, you know what? I have the time to watch another Attack on Titan episode. So yeah, here we are. I'm excited. We made it to the basement. We found the books. We started reading the books, and it seems like now we are getting a flash into what happened to Grisha. And he's like at a completely different settlement, and there's a reason why they can't go out the walls, but it seems like the walls aren't as protected as our walls are, so I theorized that their threat might not be Titans. You know, like it might be leading us to believe that unless we didn't see the main walls, right? But it felt like they were like, it flashed back to the mom saying like, don't go outside the walls, and then it shows him running through the gate outside the wall while he's saying like, I'm not supposed to go out here, but I did, and I learned the truth. You know, but their walls were tiny, and it had like a little chain link fence gate kind of thing. So yeah, I'm fascinated, guys. I just want answers. They have airships, they have pictures, they have all kinds of things that we don't have. So let's just watch this episode and learn, shall we? Alrighty, guys, we're gonna start here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Oh, it almost looks like the pictures that was taken before. They also had to have armbands to go outside. Why? Ooh. Are we not getting an opening? That day. What happened that day? Show me. Ain't no one got time for OPs. Let's get out of here. Let's get going. Oh. Whoa. What? Hey. Is this outside the wall they weren't supposed to leave? That is a tiny building for a big airship. Internment zone. Damn. Ugh, the Vinland Saga vibes. Oh! I don't like how nice he was being to the kid after they're being so mean to Grisha. Kind of like worries me. Beat the shit out of him and then be a little nice to him. I don't know how to read these guys. Bullshit. I can't understand what they're saying. Mm-hmm. So this place sucks. What? What the fuck? What the heck? Oh, that's our place. That was a lot of info. Man. Yeah. That's crazy. Oh, a little older now. Oh, clinic. Oh, they're like a rebel group? Shit. They. What the fuck? I was wondering how much of it was true. I haven't finished translating, but this is what I believe. Uh-oh. Oh. Wait, do we know that name? Whoa. Building the walls. I think I got it wrong. Shit. Oh. Zeke. Yo. The Beast Titan, maybe? That's the picture. Man. Damn. This is wild. This is so much freaking info, my head is spinning. Washed. This is where he thinks he was brainwashed. Oh my god. Such a burden to put on a kid. Yeah. It's what his dad was doing. Damn. Whoa. So this is the island has a part of it that's like a what? So he somehow got the power of the Titans because he had hands when we saw him again. Oh yeah, it's the same guy. I didn't even notice. Uh, oh, this is kind of like what happened with the Ymir, right? I don't want to turn into a monster, so do they turn him into a Titan here and then leave him? Wow, so that's where most of the Titans come from. That's terrible. Damn, it's the same guy, right? Oh, so they didn't turn him into. Maybe not. Oh, the Titans we make. Yeah, that's the guy. Holy shit. Yep, and then there's the. Yep. Damn. Oh, why? Did his wife? Damn. Interesting. Does I wonder if she has control, maybe, because she's royal blood? No. That's not the one that ate their mom, is it? There's no way, right? It was hard to tell. Mika's hair. That's cute, kinda. Whoa. So did, like, memories? He's getting the memories from his father? This is info that they're not getting from the book. That's insane. Guy just, like, enjoys doing this shit. Yeah, his hobby. Ugh. Oh, they're not gonna turn him. Wait, I think we've seen this one too. I feel like I recognize the hairstyle. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Fuck. Ugh. He didn't even look. He admitted it. So he can understand. That's terrible. Yeah. I think we've seen that one before. Interesting. Ugh. What? Holy shit. Yes, this fuck. Oh, man, I want to see him eaten. Yeah, run, Porky. I'm fat. I don't know. We've seen this one, like, have a similar look before, too. Oh, he didn't even get very far. What? What? He can turn. Holy shit. Breaking their boats. What? That was so much information. Sorry if I didn't talk much, guys. I wanted to take it in. I wanted to understand what was being said, and it was non-stop. Holy shit, dude. Like, the problem is with these societies being oppressed in these ways, like, uh, who knows who's right? No, I don't know that anybody knows really who's right, you know? Like, so we have the Eldians who are, from what I understand, they're descendants from. Is it Amir or is it Ymir? Does Ymir have the same name as the what they call it? They called it the founding Titan. And there was 9 of them, right? 9 founding Titans. This guy, the owl, is apparently one of them. So does that mean like the female Titan, like all the people that can control Titans, are those all founding Titans then? Eren, Colossal, Armored, Ymir. Like, is there only 9 in total? Or is there more? Interesting. Okay. That is it, guys, for episode 20. Okay, so, um... So, the Martians are the ones that ended up winning the war. And because of that, they oppressed the Eldians. They put them in these like internment zones where they let them live. There was something interesting that the guy said at the end, though. He said all we have to do is inject some of their spinal fluid into you, and you turn. The way he said that to me implied that if they injected that into a Martian, it would not turn them. Is it only the bloodline of the Eldians that are able to become Titans at all, you know? And is that why they hate them so much and they call them, like, demon bloods or whatever? That's really interesting. I do I do want to go back to the history lesson. Um and uh I want to see the subtitles for it because I felt like there was some of the words that I wasn't. Oh, it is Ymir. Okay, I couldn't tell if they were saying Amir or Ymir. You know. Um. Okay, so where does all this history stuff happen? It's when they go. Okay, it was 1820 or 1820 years ago that our ancestor Ymir Fritz made a pact with the devil of all Earth and obtained the power of the Titans. The devil of all Earth. Interesting. So if we are to, obviously I'm taking everything here with a grain of salt because just like how the history within what they called it, parody, uh just like the history that's there has been kind of like wiped out and altered. I feel like the history here has been like obviously we already got two sides. We got one where Ymir was trying to create a like peace, right, between everyone, but this other race just wanted to fight them and didn't want this peace, right? And then we have the flip side where, they were evil and like the Eldians were evil and needed to be stopped, and these guys are the winners, obviously the history is written by the winners, but yeah, interesting. After Ymir's death, her soul split into the ninth. Okay, I see. That's where. Sorry, there's just so much info. Okay, so there was one like god titan, right? But then after their death, her soul was split into the 9 titans, who then built the Eldian Empire. Okay. See, there was some of the words I was having a hard time understanding too, like when they said like when they said Eldian. The first couple times I heard Eldian, I heard Alien. And to keep in mind, guys, I am watching in dubbed, and this is probably the first time that I feel like the dub did me a disservice in the show. Because I had a hard time. It was just so many new words, right? Like, normally in the show I can keep up because, like, I know all these words that they're saying, you know? But when we bring in Eldians, like, especially when they were talking to Grisha as a kid and stuff, they're like, oh, what are you, now I know they're saying Eldians doing out here, but I thought they said, what are you aliens doing out here, just being like you know, just calling them like illegal aliens of some kind. But, okay, so no, they were saying Eldians. So the 9 titans built the Eldian Empire. They went on to destroy the country of Marley so that they could rule over this land. So this is like the we don't know which history is true, but this is kind of like the propaganda. What followed was an age of darkness. The subjects of Ymir viewed other races as inferior and persecuted them. Yeah, so this is what the dad believed going against his own people. He was like, buying into the Kool-Aid of the people who won and are oppressing him. They seized land and property and forced other races to bear their children to increase their own numbers. And they perpetrated this ethnic cleansing for 1700 years. But the Marleyan people conspired with the Eldian nation from within. Interesting. Gained control of 7 of the 9 titans. So how did... So somehow the Marleyans gained control of 7 of the 9 titans. So... Interesting. Maybe that kind of discredits what I thought at the end. Because that to me means that the Marleyans can become titans. So maybe I was wrong at what I thought he was trying to say at the end. And emerged victorious in the Great Titan War 80 years ago. So 80 years ago, there was a Great Titan War. So, okay. With that, he would have been younger at this point, right? Does that line up with the stuff that happened 100 years ago with, like, the walls being built 100 years ago? Does that in the 80 years line up? I guess that would make sense, right? It was 80 years at this point, and then 20 years from now is when Eren says, like, 100 years ago, like, this shit happened. The Eldian king then retreated to, Paradise Island and constructed 3 walls, choosing to hide within them with his people. Our ancestors were abandoned to this land. So yeah, so the Eldian king left, and that I guess maybe that's why the father kind of like fell in line, is because he felt abandoned by his king. And when Grisha met Dinah, he was like, "Oh no, see the royal bloodline didn't leave us. That's all propaganda. The royal bloodline is still here fighting the good fight." That's why he ended up different from his dad. The generous Marleyans chose not to kill us. Okay, and then we get into kind of Grisha's point of view on that. So that was most of that. Now I want to see we get a little bit more history here from the other perspective, right? This is the truth of our past. Now, the only thing I'm a little worried of is one side of the story feels like it's, history written by the victors, right? They obviously washed it to make the Marleyans seem like they were the good ones. But the problem is, Grisha's side of the story was him not finished translating. So they're like, "Yo, you finished reading it all?" And he's like, "No, I haven't. This is just what it feels like." So it's almost like wishful thinking. So who knows if what he's about to say here is right either, So when our ancestor Ymir gained the power of the Titans, she cultivated the land, laid down roads, and constructed bridges. She developed this continent and brought prosperity to its people. This proves that the history that we were taught has nothing but, or was nothing but a Marleyan fantasy. You learn this ancient language so fast, and it's like, no, I barely deciphered any of it. So how'd you learn the truth? He's like, isn't it obvious? Yeah, like, oh, because I have faith, I know that this is the truth. So, yeah, that's yeah, and then like this is where the Dinah Fritz shows up. Have I written down the Fritz last name sounds very familiar, but that's not the same last name as Historia's family, right? They were the Rice family, right? And they were like a true royal bloodline. So it makes me wonder is Dinah Fritz like a is that was that wrong? Was she like but I guess there were nine tight like the Ymir was split into nine, right? So maybe one was the Rice family and one was the Fritz family. That could be a possibility. Or one is a liar, whether it be the Fritz family. I guess they did say it was Ymir Fritz. Like in their legend, it's Ymir Fritz. So does that mean the Rice stuff is bullshit? Like, I don't know. But there was something special about their blood, though, wasn't there? The Rice family blood. I don't know. Or somehow the last name changed along the line. Like maybe when like if the king really did flee to parody, maybe he like changed the last name or something like that just to try to like escape that history. I don't know. I guess I don't need to go back because I remembered it was the Rice family last name. I don't know why it felt like I heard the name Fritz before, but maybe I might just be wrong. I might just be thinking about like Magic School Bus or something. um, but anyway, yeah, that's pretty crazy. I do in the subtitles. I want to see what the guy at the end says again. Um, you get a kick out of seeing Titans. Piece is great and all, but it leaves something. All it takes to turn you into huge monsters like that is a little Titan spinal fluid. It just the way that he says that line to me feels like he's acting from like a superior stance of like but if you did that to me it wouldn't happen and this is why you're demon bloods, you know? All it takes to turn you into huge monsters like that is a little Titan spinal fluid. It's just yeah, like I don't know. There was something about that line that to me the only thing I can think of is if they turned like maybe they can't become titans and the way the Marleyans got inside Eldian and managed to take it out was they said they got like 7 of the 9 titans, right? Did they like brainwash 7 people that were Eldian to get the power? Like they got them on their side and fought? That's where it's like kind of confusing. Now that I kind of went through everything again, we had the owl, right, who is one of the originals. It makes me wonder, like, since they don't age and stuff, could the owl still be over there? Also, we still don't know how Grisha, his fingers are getting cut off. It doesn't seem like he has the power of the Titans right now, so how does he get the power of the Titans? You know? Like, does he somehow get it from the owl, maybe? I'm not sure. But also crazy that Dinah is the one that inevitably makes her way into the home and eats. It's actually kind of poetic that his first wife ate his second wife. Like, it almost seems too coincidental. It makes me wonder if there is a little bit of like these like crazy titans. Is there a little bit of like but how would she know she was outside the walls the whole time until they broke in that day? How could she have possibly known that that was Grisha's wife? I don't know. We also don't necessarily... Well, no, I guess we kind of know that Grisha fed himself to Eren, so I guess we do kind of know what happened. And that probably happened, like, roughly on that day. Like, a little bit after that day. I wonder if we're going to see more of that, where he, like, turns Eren into a Titan. Like, will we see more context from, like, Grisha's point of view, rather than, like, from the little bit we've seen? I don't know. Anyway, I mean, we roughly know what happened there, but yeah, kind of crazy. But anyway, I'm trying to think of... So does this mean... If we assume that the 9 Titans that got split from Ymir, if they are all the sentient ones we know, the female Titan, the Beast Titan, Colossal, Armor, whatever you consider Eren, the coordinate, or whatever. Also, what's with the coordinate? What's so special about that? You know? That's another... Is it like... You know, the fact that it's called coordinate makes me think it leads to a place or something. Is it somehow, like, gonna lead to, like, Ymir, this god-level titan, like, returning or something? But if her soul was split into 9, do you have to accumulate all 9 and put them together? Kind of thing. If one titan consumes all 9, do they become, like, the power level of Ymir? I don't even know if that's possible. Like, if Eren would have eaten Bertholdt, would he have gained the Colossal Titan powers and, like, his already, like, Eren Titan powers? Or, like, if the Armored ate the Colossal, would you have, like, an Armored Colossal? Can it work like that? Or do they have to say split? I don't know. So yeah, it makes me wonder, that also means we've only seen 5? Right? Beast, Colossal, Armor, Eren, and Female. The only other one is the Rice one. I'm a little confused by that. Like, Rice became a... Well, no, he didn't eat anyone. He wasn't sentient. So Rice wouldn't have been one. So I think we've only seen 5 of the 9, if that is, you know, how that works. Now, the only exception to that, I have to say, is the ones that built the wall for parody. It seems like those ones were sentient, and they all, like, held hands and, you know, used their bodies to create the wall. What did they say about that part? Can I find that? It was where they, like, the threat from the king. The reason why they can't, like, apparently there's a lot of, like, fossil fuels or something that, that the Marteyans want. Yeah, here it is. When the king retreated to the island 80 years ago, he left this message. Should anyone dare to disturb us, I will release the tens of millions of titans within the walls. And unleash their destructive power upon the world. So it's not, for one, tens of thousands, two... There was one more scene, wasn't there, where we saw, like, the walls being, like, partially built in, like, their history books or whatever? Here. So, during the Great Titan War, the king abandoned his duty of maintaining the balance of power in this land, and he moved the capital to a remote island. The reason we all live such miserable lives is because the king decided long ago to turn his back on this conflict. Yeah, but I don't know, it was just the way it's visualized of the wall in this image of the wall being, like, built around. They're all sitting there, like, peaceful like this. They're not trying to, like, eat people, you know? But they also all are identical, or almost identical, very close to it. So it's like maybe this is just an illustration that we're not supposed to truly believe, you know? Obviously, I do feel like there's still more info to be had. Um, but yeah, I'm really curious, like, if all of those are sentient titans that chose to become the walls, and stuff like that, or is it did they somehow like use the coordinate that we know that Aaron can control titans and just controlled a bunch of random titans to do it, right? I don't know. I'm really fascinated. This was an insane episode, guys. What the heck? Like, I got so much info that I just don't know what to do with it all. Like, we learned this whole other world outside of our world where it's like with all these titans and everything. Oh, what I was gonna say before. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Uh, I would assume that Rhina's faction is Martian, right? That must be some of the 7 that they control. Also, who were the 2 that didn't get control? I mean, maybe that's the owl. And then what's the other one? I wonder if I missed the name of it, because they obviously mentioned the owl and I overlooked it at one point during the episode because he came in towards the end and I kind of like missed that aspect of it. But I wonder who the other one is that didn't get yoinked, you know? But yeah, so I imagine that that's who they are, if I'm not mistaken. And that's why they're going after parody, is because they want like they talked about like wanting the resources underneath it or whatever. Um so maybe that's why they're trying to attack them, because there was a moment where they called them like demons or something, right? Like Rhina or Berthold or one of them, I think, called them demons. And then we also had who I think is Zeke, the Beast Titan. I could be wrong. Because he talked about like being brainwashed by, like, you were brainwashed by Grisha too. You know, that makes me feel like the Beast Titan is Zeke, you know? Um that would make the most sense to me. And it seems like he, at a young age, sided with the Marteyans and ended up becoming the Beast Titan at some point, and now is fighting against the lingering remains of what his father, you know, tried to support. And, you know, really interesting. I'm really fascinated because, like I said earlier on, I really have no idea which one is right. I have no idea if Ymir was really this, like, saint that tried to bring peace to the world, but the Marteyans fought back, or was Ymir really oppressing everyone and, you know, using the other races as a means of, you know, reproduction and oppressing them and killing them off and stuff like that? You know, like, which side of the story is right, or is neither side of the story right, you know, at this point? I mean, if it's something that happened 1,800 years ago, their technology already doesn't seem super insane. So maybe like 1,800 years ago, documentation wasn't all that great. So it's like it's word of mouth stories that just got misconstrued over the years, or like changed in different ways for, you know, political means and stuff like that. So the question is, unless we can, you know, we do have the power to bring memories, right? Memories are a thing that are like Aaron now had, like, he was like living through the life of uh living through the life of his father. Can he do that to previous people who have held it? And is it possible to tap into the soul of Ymir, get some of those memories, and learn the truth that way? That's where I'm like really curious of like who, you know, who like how are we gonna, if the history is so fucked up, how are we ever gonna really learn the truth, even though I'm dying to know the truth? I'm just trying to figure out a way how it could work. But anyways, guys, whew, I think that's all I have to say on this one. I have to think about this one. This is crazy. At some point, I want to watch some reactions of this too, which will get me a rewatch. I may just rewatch this episode too. Um, but yeah, man, trying to like what happened to Faye was so sad too. Just this poor little girl just wanted to see the airships, and they freaking fed her to the dogs. It's so fucked up. And that poor guy, like, he was infiltrating their military, you know? And because of that, he had to, like, watch things like this happen. Like, I kind of feel bad for the owl. Like, and he had to beat up on Grisha, so he had to, like, beat up his own people and stuff, but it was all for the sake of his cover. I imagine that hurt quite a bit. That's why I got such mixed vibes from him, because he was trying to maintain his cover, but then he was also like being nice and being like, well, you're already here, you wanted to see this, so why don't you stay and see it? You know, I'm like, well, what are you? Are you a bad guy? Are you a good guy? And then like towards the end where they're like, oh, just stick him, I want to see him like flail, you know? And he's like, well, hold on, I want to interrogate him a little longer. You know, like he saved him. So fascinating. Anyways, guys, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. 2 more episodes ahead. I think that's 2 more is the end of this season 3, right? I think so. Yeah, there's 2 more episodes. So yeah, check that out if you guys want to through the early access tier on my Patreon. Links in the description below should be popping up on the screen. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in my future reactions. Bye-bye.